Guys, welcome to my channel, and today we will discuss about semester first assignments for the subject financial accounting, and this is for June 2022 cycle. So before getting more into details of this assignment, let me just give you a brief about the assignments and the exam stuff. I think you mostly are aware of that there are total six subjects, and each subject is of having 100 marks, in which 30 marks is of assignments and 70 marks belongs to exams. In 30 marks, you will get the three questions: first, second, third A, and third B, and each question is of 10 marks. So first question is of 10 marks, second question is of 10 marks, third A question is of 5 marks, and third B question is of 5 marks. And the maximum word limit is around 1000 words for first, second, and 500 words for third A and third B. So 5,000 words means like you can just write plus minus 10%. Normally we suggest that 800, 850 words. Still you can go up to 1100 words. Similar in case of third A and third B, you can just work within the range of 450 to maybe 425 to 450 to maximum 550 words. So this is about the assignments, and there are two important aspects which you need to keep in your mind while working on the assignments. The very first thing is the plagiarism. So plagiarism is simply a thing when you are just writing the same content, maybe from the book, it maybe from NMIMS book or any other book on maybe from internet. So make sure if you are just taking the reference from any content, that is totally fine, but you can't directly write everything without changing any content, right? You just need to study the things, and after that you need to reframe the sentences in your own words. That's the concept of plagiarism, and maximum 20% plagiarism is allowed. And being financial accounting is more or less it's a numerical based subject. So many students come to me and asking, sir, we are getting plagiarism amount very high in case of financial accounting. So yes, it can be more than 20%, because in financial accounting the formula will remain the same, the definition of asset liability remain the same. So that's why there is a chances that it can go more than 20%. But yes, make sure that the theoretical content which you are writing, that should be written in your own word. It's not like that you are exceeding the plagiarism of more than 50 to 60%. Yes, formulas remain the same, definitions will remain the same, but yes, when you are explaining something, maybe you are explaining any transaction or explaining any accounting equation, then you need to frame the sentences in your own words, right? Second thing comes about the copy case. So financial is a little bit complicated subject, as well as in terms of assignments also. Assignments are not straightforward. Questions you need to explore from internet. So many a times our friends and colleagues say, okay, sir, okay, you have already uploaded the assignment, so let's share it to me so that I can get a reference. So don't ever share your assignment with your colleagues, even if you have uploaded the assignment, because if they upload the same assignment which you have uploaded, then you both will get a copy case. So don't think that you have uploaded first, you won't get a copy case. So that's very important thing. And it should be in a Word document, needs to be uploaded in a PDF format. I think that we have already discussed. Now let's start with the financial accounting assignment. So firstly, see what are the three questions. So this is the assignment PDF which is available on your portal. There are three questions: first, second, third, and third B, as we had discussed. And now let's start with our first question. Okay. For the following transaction, analyze the accounting transaction using the accounting equation framework. Introduced rupees 100,000 to 5 lakhs for a check by the owner as the initial capital in the business. Purchased the goods on credit from Mr. Ritu at rupees 40,000. Paid 10,000 as the salary. Invested 2 lakhs as the FD. Paid tuition fees to the kid of 25,000 from the business bank account. So if you see what you need to write. So firstly, in the question it's directly being asked that you need to analyze these transactions, and I think there was a miss, and after that, okay, and 1 mark for the correct journal entry. Okay, so here two things you need to specify. The very first thing is the accounting transactions, and second thing is the journal entry. If you see here, 1 mark for the correct journal entry, right? So two things you need to write, right? But You need to because if you just write all these things or just analyze an accounting transaction, it won't go more than 400 or maximum 500 words. So it's better to explain or give an introductory thing about the accounting equation, what accounting equation is, what is asset liability, whatever you want to just write it which relates to this particular question, right? So firstly, see, okay, going to the page number 8. So it's going to the page number 8. uh, on page number 8, it's mentioned as page number 8. Okay, so it's a balance sheet where it's mentioned about the accounting equation, that holds the always holds as asset equals to owners capital plus liability. So you just need to explain a little bit about the accounting equation, then brief overview and analysis of the accounting transaction. So going to the page number 16. Okay. So here it's analysis of accounting year transaction. So you can just go through this content and frame the content in your own words. And after that, it's on page number 17. It's an illustration. So most of the stuff which is being asked in the question, you can just refer to this illustration so that you can explain the transaction. Then going to the page number 23. So if you go to the page number 23, it's the journal, so you just need to explain about the journal, a brief about the journal and how the transaction was being entered. And on page number 24, it's mentioned again, illustration 2.3, where the transactions are being mentioned and how it is being recorded in the journal. It's being specified over here. Right. Now quickly see what are the transactions. So very first transaction is introduce the 5 lakh to the check by the owners. So what it will do, it basically increase your overall asset as well as it will increase over your capital, right? So again, in this case, if I talk about the overall liability, the liability won't ever change in this case. Only asset part will change as well as your overall capital will change, right? Now, second is purchase the goods on credit from Mr. Rutti for rupees 40,000. So it will increase the asset because you are getting goods, right? And liability will increase. You have purchased the goods on credit, so you need to pay rupees 40,000 to Ritu. So it will be your liability, right? The third one is paid salaries to employees. So 10,000 you are paying the salary. So it will increase your cash asset. So it will be a deduction in your asset. And again, because like accounting equations are double entry system, so either there should be an entry liability or in the capital. So what it will do, it will decrease your overall capital, right? Then next part comes as invested 2 lakhs in the FD. So there won't be any change in the FD because there is no change in the asset, there is no change in the liability, or no change in the capital. Paid 50,000 rupees fees of the kid from the business bank account. It's basically a personal expense. So it will decrease your cash amount, which is your asset, and it will decrease your overall capital. So this will be your accounting transaction, right? Now going to the similar stuff about the journal entry. So if you talk about the journal entry, you just simply need to specify like the first entry is the capital being introduced. So bank account will be a debit and capital or equity will be a credit. Second will be the inventory. So inventory account will be debited and to Mr. Ritu will be credited. Third one is salary account will be debited and cash or bank account will be credited. Next is FD to the cash bank account, debit and credit. Last one is the drawings, which is the school fees. Again, it's the debit to the cash bank account, 25,000. Right. So this is the way how you just need to explain these transactions. The firstly in the accounting transaction, second one in the form of general entry. Right. So first question is pretty much clear. Moving to the second question. The second question is one of the most easiest question. Nothing you need to do. It's a directly straightforward theoretical question. You started learning the course of financial accounting analysis in the MBA program. You learned about commonly used accounting statements. Discuss about any 5 terms which are commonly used by the different use of the accounting information for the sake of understanding the financial statements. So going to the page number 5. So if you see 1.5 accounting terms, you can choose any of them: asset, liability, owners, equity, revenue, cost, expenses, goods, debtors, creditors, debits and credits. So all these terms. One important thing. This is a very easy question, but again, you can score more marks if you give the example for each of the case, right? Because writing, you just need to explain it, and after that, if you put any example, it will help you gain more and more marks, maybe additional 1 or 2 marks to it, right? So always try to explain it with in the form of any examples, right? So this is straightforward. Okay. Going to the third question. So third question is from the given information, calculate the total purchases, creditors, and payment to the credit purchases and payment to the creditors. Right. So if we talk about this question, so this question is I don't think that you will get from the book directly, but yes, let's see. Page number 168. So if you go to the page number 168, 168. Okay, okay. So, firstly, you just need to here it's a short question, 500 words. So maybe you need not to explain all the things, or maybe you can just give an explanation. It's purely up to you. But I think it's a short answer, so you can just directly show the calculation. So what is being asked in the question? You need to calculate the total purchases. So total purchases will be calculated from this formula, because here if you see all the things are given. So cost of goods sold can be sales minus gross profit, or it can be opening stock per purchases plus manufacturer expenses minus closing stock, right? So if you talk about COGS, so in the question COGS is given, right? Opening stock is given, closing stock is given, you need to calculate the total purchases. So using these three values, you can calculate the your total purchases. So total purchases will be, so if you talk about COGS equals to opening stock plus purchases minus closing stock, right? So COGS is 580. 580 equals to 40 plus purchases and minus 70. So it's a simple calculation. You can just make the calculation to get the total purchases, right? The second thing comes as the credit purchases. So credit purchases is simply the total purchases minus cash purchases, right? So total purchases you will calculate from this one, total purchases. And if we talk about the cash purchase, so cash purchase is given as 45. So from the first answer, minus 45 will give you the credit purchase. Okay. Then third one comes as the payment to the creditors, right? So, payment to the creditors is simply the creditors at the beginning of the year plus current credit balance. Uh, After that, it will be the minus of the total credit at the end of the year. So, what will be the value? So, it will be 60, which is the starting of the year, plus it will be the total value will be 580. uh, no, total credit purchases, sorry, the total credit purchases you will calculate from this second part, right? So basically you are calculating 60 plus the value of credit purchases, and minus it will be the creditor at the end of year, 100, right? So if you see, all these things are linked to each other, right? Total purchases you need to calculate. After that, once you calculate the total purchases, it will be used in the credit purchases. Once you calculate the credit purchases, then it will be used in the payment to creditors, right? So explaining these things once again. So how you will calculate the purchases? The total purchases will be COGS minus opening stock plus closing stock. I have just simplified this. So it will be 580 minus 40 plus 70, right? You can calculate this. So it will give you, I think it's 610, right? If you talk about the credit purchases, so credit purchases will be total purchases like 610, minus it will be the cash purchases will be 45. So it will give around 565. After that, the payment to the creditors, it will be 60, plus the credit purchases will be 565, minus the creditors at the end of the year, 100, right? So 565 plus 6625 minus 100, it will be 525, right? So I think I have just given the answers of all these third A question, because this is not the direct one, so that's why I just explained it in a much deeper manner. Now going to the third B question, define the term net book value, accumulated depreciation, and calculate the net book value and cash proceeds from the sale of investment. Right. So this is again not directly from the book. So you need to explain the net book value. So I am just giving you a brief idea about what is net book value. So net book value is simply the total amount which is being indicated by the enterprise in the books of accounts in its books. So it will be the actual value of the asset, and after that there will be some depreciation or depletion or amortization. Like suppose if I talk about any machinery, the machinery cost, suppose it's of 20 lakhs, and every year it's being depreciated, right? Obviously if you are using it on regular basis, the value will get depreciated. So suppose if the 20 lakh machinery will get depreciated in the first year, the depreciation cost will comes around maybe 4 lakh. So the net book value will be 20 minus 4, it will be 16 lakh, right? So this is the way how we can just calculate the net book value. And the second thing comes as the accumulated depreciation. So accumulated depreciation is simply accumulation of all the depreciations, right? So all the assets will be depreciated. It's not only the machinery they have. There might be some land, there might be some other capital. So everything, once they will sum up, and it will be accumulated, and it will be add up to your depreciation, right? Now, next comes as the, we need to calculate the net book value, right? So net book value. So firstly, see the question. So if we talk about the net book value, then it will be the, so this first part is completed that we have used for the third equation. Now the second we use for the third equation. So net book value will be the original value of the equipment, and it will be minus accumulated depreciation on the equipment. So the value will be direct 400 minus 80. It will be the net book value, right? As I mentioned, again, I'm just repeating. So net book value will be the original cost of the equipment, like the machinery we discussed 20 lakh, and 4 lakh was the depreciation. It comes to 16 lakh. So similarly, in this case, the original cost of equipment was 400 and depreciation was 80. So the net value comes as 400 minus 80. That will be 320. So that is the net book value. The coming to the second thing which is being asked in the question, it's the cash proceeds. Yeah, it's a cash proceeds from the sale of investment, right? So cash proceeds will be the net book value, and plus it will be the overall gains and profits, right? So net book value was coming as 320, and overall gain on the equipment will be 50, right? So the cash proceeds will be 320 plus 50 comes to around 370, right? So this is the way how we have calculated the third B question. And because obviously it contains of two parts. The first part you need to refer from the internet, and second, I have all the calculation I have already been explained, so you can just refer it and you can just write it in the directly. And if you are not sure about the content, or if you are having some calculations and you are not having some doubt in the calculation, I just suggest to give a try on your own, and after that share it to your assignment to ngasc.mba@gmail.com, so that I will just quickly validate the stuff and see if the calculations are correct and up to the mark, or maybe if there's some more additions or maybe some changes required to the content, so that you can just make the relevant changes, and definitely that will help you to gain more and more marks. And if you have any doubts or facing any issue, feel free to just connect to me at ngasc.mba@gmail.com. And if you like this video, do like, do subscribe, and stay connected for further videos. Thank you so much.